Okay, we have no deputations, but we move on to petitions, and I'd like to welcome Kim Money, Trudy Burrows and Jo Zervis, who's here in her personal capacity, to present their petition regarding the ban on Freedom campers in the North Beach foreshore car park. Welcome. And I'd just like to say before you start, is that one of your supporters behind you with all those kids?
Absolutely, aren't they fantastic?
If my grandchildren were that quiet, they get a free ice cream.
You're paying.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor, councillors, staff and community. We are here to present to Council a petition on behalf of 866 plus concerned residents and key stakeholders of the North Beach foreshore car park. We are asking Council to ban freedom camping in this area. As been said, I'm Kim Money, I'm the Chair of the North Beach Residents Association. With me today is Trudy Burrows, Coordinator of the New Brighton Community Fridge, and Jo Zervis, our Coastal Board Community Board member. Jo organised this petition at our request and is our group's liaison person. However, Jo is here on a private capacity. We also have apologies from Dean Lawarn, the North Beach Surf Club captain. So for some context, slide 1, you will see that this is the area that we're talking about, and I hope that all of you actually know where this is. So the North Beach car park is located between the North New Brighton War Memorial Community Centre and the North Beach Surf Club. There are only 42 marked car parks plus 5 accessibility parks. There were 57, however Council without notice removed 15 to use as a third footpath, which has now created dangerous space and has exacerbated the issues. The key stakeholders who rely on this car park are the North Beach Surf Club, beachgoers, community groups and events who hire the hall, the North Y board riders, North Beach Coffee Shed customers, beach wheelchair and beach mat users, schools across the city for beach and surf programs, with only 42 car parks. These parks provide access to all these facilities and activities. Can we have the next slide, please? And Annie, I'd just like to acknowledge you too, so we're right with you. But the reality is, it has now been turned into a camping ground, and 866 plus have had enough. Please note that 866 plus is more than some years' submissions on the annual plan, just saying. A temporary weekend ban from the 1st of October to the 1st of May was initially put in place a few years ago until a permanent ban was changed in the bylaws. But since COVID and increased visitors to the country and promotion of the area by council and other public arenas as a great place to camp, the increasing presence of freedom camping is causing accessibility and health and safety issues, such as, you'll see them up on the slide, you can flick the slides through as you like and keep flicking those through if you like. Beach toilets, outdoor showers and drinking fountains being used frequently for washing dishes, laundry, that would be undies, etc., and personal hygiene. For example, shaving legs and cleaning teeth in the drinking fountain, cleaning cooking gear and leaving food scraps in the drinking fountain and the shower area. As this is a family audience, I would just say weekly birthday suit showering. Yeah, that's what I said. Right in view of families having picnics at the large beach table. The public beach toilets and changing rooms are frequently left in a disgusting state. Overflowing council rubbish bins and freedom camping also putting their rubbish in the neighbours' personal rubbish bins on Marine Parade. Alcohol consumption and an alcohol ban area. Campers often set up tables, tarpaulins and cookers and monopolising spaces in adjoining car park spaces beside them and the footpaths. Large camper vans often take up 2 car parks and therefore cause access issues in and out of the parking bays. The freedom camping parking congestion limits local access. Residents have made many complaints either to their local elected reps or myself as RA Chair or to the council. It would appear that when a SnapSend solve is sent or a phone call is about freedom camping related issues, these complaints are distributed to different departments, and the reality of the situation is not produced in the council stats. You will no doubt appreciate that taking photos of freedom campers doing personal hygiene issues would be problematic. Apparently a definition of freedom camping is just staying overnight. However, if you are still there in the morning and not breaching a bylaw, but stay all day, it's parking. 866 plus say they are camping. This is our reality and experience. The bylaw rules are confusing and not well publicised. Also, the council resources to monitor those bylaws on a regular basis are very limited and clearly not working for our community and visitors. And another impending issue, Williams Corp have purchased the Ozone site right opposite the hall, your facility, on the corner of Marine Parade and Bowhill Road. 50 apartments, only 26 off-street parks. This will further exacerbate the problems. Therefore, and finally, 866 plus, because people are still signing it, concerned residents and key stakeholders request that the Christchurch City Council Chief Executive place a temporary ban on freedom camping in the North Beach car park until the bylaw can be changed and a permanent ban can be enforced. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Celeste, got a question?
Thank you for coming in, and also thanks to Anne for coming in. A couple of really quick ones. When would you like a ban to start?
Tomorrow? No, honestly, the residents, if there wasn't a problem, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Are you looking for all year or over summer?
All year.
All year. Mm-hmm. And in terms of, we had a briefing recently. Have you seen the stats around what was put into that?
I did happen to watch online about those stats, and I was absolutely flabbergasted. I think, as I've said, staff just don't have the resources to get down there and to do their thing as often as necessary. We, the residents, we have our own stats, which is actually what is happening, because I think when they get down there, either they've gone, it's too early or it's too late, and so therefore we're not getting a true indication. Plus what I said to you about the complaints that are going into council are going to separate departments, so therefore it's not being put under freedom camping. Plus, I thought I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, when yourself and Joe or any other member of the community board or council get complaints, apparently that's second or third information, which isn't taken on board. Now, I think that's a real shame, because this is why we have elected reps to represent our concerns. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Melanie, please.
There's no parking restrictions in that car park, is that right?
No.
Would that help? I mean, I know you want...
That would be, in my opinion, that would be a step further down the track. At the moment, the issue is the freedom camping, and that needs immediate attention. The limited parking, when Williams Corp come in, that would help that, if there was like a 3 hours or no parking overnight, because we're going to get residents parking in that car park once they're built.
Okay.
Yeah, a question for legal. On that request, does Mary have the power to enact a temporary ban in the requested area with the agreement of the council table? Like, is it as simple as the request being made?
She's just a wee bit tied up.
Well, it's a question for legal.
Yeah, that's right. Christian legal. Are we allowed?
I can answer that. There is a power.
We'll look and
Because I think we did that.
There is a power to the chief executive, but there is some criteria around its exercise, so we would have to provide some advice around that.
Okay, so when will we receive the advice?
It's being looked at the moment.
So is that like hours, days? Weeks?
More like days, weeks. Okay. Yes.
because Councillor Donovan has already raised this issue previously with us, so a few days ago. So
We've been on already.
We have been looking on it.
Okay.
Right.
Yanni, please.
It seems to me that there's a massive issue with the parking, like putting aside the concerns around the actual impact of the rubbish and all the other behaviour that you've talked about. Just thinking about the parking situation, is there a need, like the time restriction, like if you had time restrictions, then obviously people couldn't stay overnight or more than 2 hours or 3 hours or something like that. And then also where council in town has put in parking charges also to discourage people from accessing it, like the gardens in Hagley Park. So have you had any thought around the wider issue around what could be done around parking just to try and mitigate in the short term some of the problems?
Those would be more problematic than they would, and the council just don't have the resources to monitor it. It would just cause all sorts of chaotic problems. Things are getting quite heated in that car park. So the simplest, and probably in the long term, the cheapest solution is to actually just ban the freedom campers. We're talking 42 car parks. It's not a lot, but it needs to be made available again to our public.
Sorry, I was just picking up on your point though that there's a whole bunch of new residential without enough car parking, so they're just going to go and park.
It would be as well as, not instead of.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Tim, please.
Yeah, thank you. And the term freedom parking, obviously, it's a cost to the local community, which you've proven, and so is this young lady here. So thank you for coming. Part of freedom camping, you hope that the economic benefit to the community kind of raises, which obviously there's a cost overreaching that. Has anyone looked at Hawke Street and the large car parks behind the mall? The mall shops are struggling. One would think that if you had the freedom campers in that area with better facilities, that hopefully some economic benefit would flow over to the mall. Is that unpractical, or?
Apparently they're not allowed in there anyway, but just one thing I'd like to say is I phoned the South Brighton camping ground in the weekend to say, hey guys, how are you going? How's the freedom camping, or how are the motorhomes, etc. They were full over Christmas, which was great, but they said at the moment they could definitely do with a whole lot more motor campers in there. Plus they're also right beside the red zone, so it could be cost effective to perhaps allow them to extend their space. Plus we've got the Spencer Park car park, of course. But Trudy is from the community fridge. She's right there on Hawke Street. You got anything to say about that?
Yeah. There's a few things. Especially as far as like, do they bring any money in? What we're finding is like Anna's got the local coffee cart there, but people, because they can't get access, aren't going there. So her business could possibly be going down. But because the campers don't buy coffee, they send out there with a little Primus, so they're not buying coffee. But what I'm noticing at the food bank, they are coming to us for food. And that really but we actually have to say to them, look, I'm really sorry, we don't have enough food for our local community, let alone feeding people passing through.
So they can afford to come to New Zealand, have a holiday and buy a van, but they don't want to go and buy any food and take it off the people that really need it.
Yeah,
that's appalling. Thank you very much.
Okay, right. Thank you so much for bringing this in. And one thing that you did touch on very slightly was the wheelchair mat access. It's the only beach really that's easily done. There are other ones, but that's pretty level. And I know a number of people that go there and use it because it's cool. But I just going back to what you said and what Anne said, Akaroa has got a space which is nowhere near houses, and they encourage people to stay there, freedom campers to stay there. It's good. And I know there's some land adjacent to Latimer Square, which is going through the Minster at the moment, to encourage freedom campers to come and stay there, because I look at it from a point of view, I know they're a pain in the neck, I look at it from a point of view, they've got money in their pocket, they'll spend some money somewhere, but we just don't want them there because they're stuffing everything up. I have always been a fan of, and I know Celeste is, I know Joe is, and Kelly, about either latching onto the side of the South Brighton motor camp, because we don't want to, that's how he makes his money. We don't want to ruin what he's got. Mm-hmm. Whether we could make some land of ours available for him to look after or use, or he gets a little bit of money off it, that might be better, because I had that thing in my head about Ells Terrace, and that it needs people to sort of watch it and see what's going on in South Brighton Car. And when you said it was right next door to the red zone, of course, there's some spare land next door. That may be something we can look at, because we don't want to scare them away totally, because it's what makes the place fizzy, but we don't want to stuff it up for everyone. And as you say, you've got the new development across the road is not going to help the situation either. So thank you very much for coming in, and Celeste has a question.
I was just picking up on the points raised today. Can we get advice on those matters raised, including the temporary ban and the Broad Park one? So obviously both areas, I think we're looking at requesting a ban, and also those other matters that were mentioned today. If we get advice on that, please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Already written it down.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, can I just mention, give you a bouquet, all of you, with regards to the accessibility mat. In the weekend, we do a collaboration between the Surf Club and our Residents Association. Council have contributed funding towards that to be able to purchase the containers and mats and stuff, which we're very grateful for, and also maintenance. But this weekend, we had an email from a gentleman who lives in Auckland, and he came down to visit his brother who was extremely ill. Now, this gentleman sent us an email to say that he hired the beach mat about 3 weeks ago for his brother to take him for a walk from North Beach to Waimari, beautiful Friday afternoon, and he just wanted to thank us very, very much for that public service because his brother died 4 days later. So, you guys, you help provide something like that for our community and for our city, and so good on you. Well done.
Okay, and lastly, Sarah.
Just since everyone's talking about the beach mat stuff, just let you know that there's planning underway for an accessibility beach mat in Scarborough.
Great.
And the local community group have been fundraising and working with staff to get that
It
involved.
works very well down there.
Yeah.
Well with it.
Just
Okay,
following up, Philip
Who said you
again.
could speak?
I did. I gave myself permission. I had an email yesterday from Chris Wagner from Kiwi Camps, who does these camps, and you spoke to him about the Els Terrace proposal years ago. And he's actually coming down to Christchurch on the 15th and would like to meet with some people and discuss what he does, if that is possible.
Well, please put him in touch with my office because I'd like to be there and see, and we'll take Kelly and Celeste and you guys as well. More the merrier. Good
Thanks
to see you.
very much.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for your time, guys.
Wonderful.